Hi, everybody, and welcome back. My name's Melissa, and this year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living. Today's tip is to stop buying eggs. A lot of you may have already stopped buying eggs. Maybe you can't find them. Maybe they're just too expensive. I always recommend to have a cutoff price for how much you're willing to pay for certain items. For me, my cutoff price for eggs is $4 a dozen. Now, I love eggs. I eat eggs 3 to 5 times a week. Some days I will eat them every night for dinner. I love eggs. I was paying 99 cents a dozen as recently as November for eggs. I have noticed, so I was getting them and picking them up when they were $3.99 a dozen. A couple weeks ago, they hit $5.49 a dozen, even with the 50-cent off coupon at Meijer. That's still more than my $4 cutoff, so no eggs for me. That made me very sad. So I needed an ingredient. I can't even remember what I needed something for whatever I was cooking that night. So on the way home from work, I stopped by a store. It is a chain. It is a corporation. They are throughout multiple states. And on the way past the eggs, I saw they were $3.49 a dozen. This was like 2 weeks ago. $3.49 a dozen. Other people are paying $7 to $12 a dozen for eggs. There's egg shortages that they're showing on social media and the news and everything. And I found eggs for $3.49 a dozen. And just to show you, they expire March, like the end of March, the 20th something. And I paid $3.49. There was no coupons. This was not a loss leader. It was not advertised. In fact, when I looked online for an egg video I made a while back, they were like $5.49 a dozen online. So I was like, well, I guess no eggs for me. And I found them for $3.49. So I picked up 2. It was limit 2. I picked them up. And then me being the person I am and knowing that I love eggs, a few days later, decided to check again. And again, they were $3.49 a dozen. So I picked up 2 more. And then a few days later, I was at the other side of town. And I can't remember. I needed something at a different store. And then I was like a block away from the other location of this store that will remain nameless. And so I was like, well, you know what? I'll go in and grab eggs there. $5.49 a dozen. I was like, dang, they went up. But me, I'm a curious person, and I always need to know. I can't just let something go. Like that is not me. I am the what if girl. I am the cannot let it go. I perseverate. It's just a me thing. So I was like, you know what? It's like a mile or 2 out of my way to stop by the other location on my way home. So I did. And again, eggs were $3.49 a dozen. So I picked up 2 more. And then I was up there again. I had to stop yesterday, and again, $3.49 a dozen. So I picked up 2 more. So I have like 6 dozen eggs right now. Or 2 shy of 6 dozen. They are 12 3-day large eggs. I'm paying $3.49 a dozen. The other location, same store / corporation, same city, same brand, and their store brand. And the stores are about 5 or 6 miles apart. I'll put the exact thing down below. And $2 a dozen difference? Why? So, again, see previous note about perseveration. I decided to start researching it. I found out it's because, in addition to transportation, it's what the market can bear. So they determined that where I was buying the eggs, the market could bear $3.49, and where the other location was, it could bear $5.49. Now, it's a corporation. They aren't advertising it, so it's not a loss leader to get people to come in. They are selling them that because it's what the market can bear, which means they're paying less than $3.49 a dozen, which means that they are price gouging at the other location. Don't give me any of that. It's what the market can bear. So I guess this is kind of a tip, but kind of a call to action, because until we all say we aren't going to pay that, and we've got to do it with our dollars, we've got to do it with our spending, they're going to keep on having us pay that. So let the eggs rot on the shelf. Quit buying them. Now, find your price point. If eggs are normally $4 a dozen near you, maybe you'll pay $5 a dozen. How much were you willing to pay last year? Don't pay more than you were paying last January for eggs. Don't do it. If you really, really want eggs, if you're like me and you're just like obsessed with eggs, maybe go to a local farmer. I know around here they're charging like $4 to $6 a dozen for medium to large eggs. And the medium eggs that I get from my farmer are pretty close in size to the large eggs that I get from the store, because though he does weigh them to compare them, he errs on the side of caution because he doesn't want to get in trouble. So $4 a dozen for Easter eggers. Maybe you can just quit buying eggs and buy something else instead. I will link a video. I have a video. I will put the thing on and link it below on how much eggs are as a per pound weight, and it's like 0.79 something is the multiplication factor. So if you're paying, I'm paying $3.49 a dozen, so that's like $2.66. It looks like $2.66 a pound for eggs. If I was paying $5.49 a dozen, it would have been $4.20, $4.18. If you're paying $7, you're paying $5.33 a pound. And if you're paying $12, you're paying $9.14 a pound. So think about it. Like, what? If you're paying more for eggs than you are for steak, you are doing something you shouldn't be. You need to change something. And maybe you're a vegetarian. Look into vegan meat options. Buy tofu. Buy the, chicken tenders where it's spelled a different way because it's vegan meat. Choose a different option. I can't tell you the number of things right now that are cheaper, but until we say no and let them rot on the shelves and let the corporations take the hit, egg prices will continue to remain high. So I'm not normally a big call to action. I normally really am like, hey, let's just save money. But at this point, this is kind of our opportunity as consumers to put an end to it. So don't pay more for eggs than you do for steak. Don't do it. Just don't buy them. Anyways, again, my name's Melissa, and this year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living. Today's tip is to quit buying eggs, or at least find your maximum price point and don't go over that. We don't need the egg shortages. We don't need to have this. Just quit buying them. Let the price come down. Anyways, again, my name is Melissa. This year I'm sharing 365 tips for frugal living. If you want to hear more, please hit like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.